Hear that? Nothing? Me neither. But that's the perfect spot for your company's name to step into the spotlight. Become an underwriter for As You Mic It and let every episode be your curtain call. Slip a note to podcast@pashakespeare.org for more information.
Hello, friends, and welcome to As You Mic It, the Prologues, your handy pocket guide to Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival's 2025 Undiscovered Countries Summer Theater Series. I'm Connie Berenger, Associate Producer here at PSF, here to set the stage before you take your seat. Our prologue is a quick companion episode designed to arm you with plot essentials, thematic touchpoints, and a few production nuggets so you can walk into the theater feeling like an insider. Our first stop, Penelope, a new musical by Alex Bechtel that flips Homer's epic on its head, asking what happens when the one who's always waiting finally steps into the spotlight. To chart this journey is our Director of Education and Community Engagement, Kim Carson, your navigator through the myths, music, and modern twists that make Penelope such an exciting first step into our undiscovered countries.
Thanks, Connie. Let's dive right into Penelope. In this prologue, I want to talk a little bit about the story, the source of inspiration for Penelope, but also talk a little bit about the journey of how this new musical came into being. So the source material for this musical is the Odyssey by Homer. It's an epic poem that is about Odysseus's journey home after the Trojan Wars. Now, the Trojan Wars lasted about 10 years, and this journey home takes about another 10 years. Odysseus and Penelope's son, Telemachus, who was just a baby when his dad went off to war, is now grown, and he's out searching for his father. And in all of these 20 years' time, Penelope, who is Odysseus's wife, waits. In the story, in the poem itself, not much ink is actually spent on the character of Penelope. She's almost a footnote, and yet she is a notable one. She demonstrates intelligence and cunning throughout this epic poem, particularly in her handling of the suitors who plague her household. During Odysseus's absence, she faces relentless pressure from suitors who seek to marry her and take control of the kingdom. And her strategy against these suitors is this weaving deception. She promises that she is going to choose a suitor after completing a burial shroud for Odysseus's father, but secretly she unravels her day's weaving each night to delay the decision. Throughout the story, she maintains this delicate balance, never fully rejecting the suitors, which could provoke violence, while never accepting any of them either. And she cleverly tests their character through various challenges, and she's requesting gifts, and all this while she's protecting the kingdom's resources. And when Odysseus finally returns home and he's disguised as a beggar, Penelope's wisdom shines again. She announces a contest using Odysseus's old bow. He has this bow and arrow, this old bow that's very hard to string, and she knows that only he could string it. So all of the other suitors are defeated, and she tests the disguised Odysseus one final time by mentioning moving their marriage bed, knowing full well that this bed was built around an immovable olive tree. And that's a secret that only the real Odysseus would know. What makes Penelope particularly fascinating is how she matches Odysseus in cunning and intelligence, but she expresses these qualities in a different context. She's protecting hearth and home rather than adventuring as he is. Her struggles, while less physically dramatic than her husband's, he's trapped on an island for a while. Neptune, the god of the sea, is angry at him for a while and keeps putting his boat off course, etc. But her at-home struggles require equal courage and resourcefulness. So I had a really wonderful conversation with Alex Bechtel, who's the composer and one of the writers on the piece. And he talked about how exciting this co-production is to him because it's with two companies that he really loves and with an actor that he really loves. The first company is Theater Horizon, of course. That's where the production goes first before it comes to us. And this is where he met Rachel Camp, who will be playing Penelope. And then the second company, yours truly, PSF, of course, is where he wrote some of this music. So he went on to explain, the summer of 2021, Alex was composer and music director on our outdoor Midsummer Night's Dream production. It was the first summer that we were back after the big pandemic lockdown. He was in digital workshop sessions with the Orchard Project, trying to expand what he felt was a concept album into a musical. So many of the instrumental pieces, a lot of the music that you will see and hear in Penelope were made here on DeSales University practice pianos and in rehearsal halls. So for him and for us here at PSF, this feels like a homecoming for so much of this music to be back in the space where it was born. That's really exciting. And I asked Alex what inspired him to write the musical from the point of view of this relatively minor, though very interesting, character. And he explained that he started writing this music during early summer of 2020 when we were all in lockdown. I was in lockdown in Philly, he said, and at the time I was dating someone in grad school in Boston. Because of the pandemic, the tense and scary nature of the moment, we were quarantined apart in separate cities. So he was navigating this fear and longing and uncertainty of that long-distance moment, and he started writing songs from the point of view of Penelope. Alex said, "It all arrived very organically from my need to make music to process what I was going through personally in this very global moment." So he started to construct a concept album because he says he couldn't think of it as a musical yet. But once the album was out there, more songs started showing up and more music. And then Alex reached out to his friend, Eva Steinmetz, who he had collaborated on The Appointment, one of his earlier shows, and with a number of other projects. And he asked Eva to help him expand this concept album into a musical. And it started to look like around that time that theater would be possible again. Theater started opening up again. So they ended up with a first draft, and they were planning on doing a concert with that score, and they wanted to do it in New York. And at the time, they decided to reach out to Grace McLean, who was an actor who they felt could hold a classical theatrical acting style, but also be a comedian and also move in expressionistic ways and also front a band, because that's what's required of whoever plays Penelope. So they reached out to Grace McLean, and she agreed to do this concert with them. They, at that time, had music but no dialogue or anything yet. And then after a series of wild events all surrounded by COVID, that concert got held off. And in the meantime, the Orchard Project reached out again to do an in-person workshop, leading to a performance. So in those weeks, again, in person with the Orchard Project, they ended up writing the dialogue and the scene work. And that is how the play came to be in its full form over time. So each of these productions, Eva has been able to direct, Alex could work on it, and though Grace never had the chance to perform in it, she stayed on as co-writer. So each production has been very personal and really special, and each Penelope has been so different. And I will say we are really lucky to be able to watch the wonderful Rachel Camp in our production. We are so excited to see all the things that she brings and sings to it. The goal for these writers was to construct something that had its own voice in the piece, but also had an open hand so that it could really belong to each actor who plays her. And Penelope is painted in culture as this, definition of stand by your man, the epitome of the faithful wife. And lots of more modern adaptations of the Odyssey paint her in a more feminist light. They give her voice that is counter to that sort of simply stand by your man, I love him, I love him, I love him narrative, right? And a lot of those stories were very inspirational to Alex and the team. But what was really interesting to them for their production was to give the character full reign to communicate this full emotional and mental experience in this time, while also staying true to the notion of the source material, which is that she is choosing not to abandon or move on from him, from Odysseus. So in Penelope, Alex feels that is what is most interesting, is its complexity. It's not simple. There are a multitude of feelings that Penelope is going through, and Alex adds, that's what I was going through. So I asked him one more question. I said, what do you hope the audience will take away? He said, I hope people will come into the piece with an open mind, thinking they're seeing something rendered from a really personal place, and just experience 80 minutes of a bunch of thoughtful, funny, feisty, weird, angry, and everything. All these sides of being caught when you're waiting for something or someone you dearly love. It's something we've all experienced and can connect to. So, we hope you'll come to experience Penelope at the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival, playing May 28th to June 8th at the Labuda Theater. And there you have it, your swift voyage through the magic of Penelope. If today's prologue sparked your curiosity, you can get your seats now at pashakespeare.org or call our box office at 610-282-WILL. That's 610-282-9455.
And while you're at it, be sure to follow As You Mic It in your favorite podcast app for updates on more mini episodes, bonus content, and our special live recording at Community Day later this summer. A quick shout out to Chuck Gloman, Jarret Brown, and the entire film and TV department of DeSales University for their continued support in bringing As You Mic It to life. We'll be back soon with another prologue to help you chart the next undiscovered country in our summer series. Until next time, for Kim Carson, I'm Connie Berenger, reminding you that every epic begins with the first bright note of curiosity. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at Labuda. Thank you for listening to As You Mic It, a Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival presentation recorded on the beautiful campus of DeSales University. Our music is by Cedric Lamar, with hosts Jason King-Jones, Kim Carson, and Connie Berenger. For more information on our summer theater series, giving opportunities, tickets, and more, visit pashakespeare.org. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you at Labuda.
Behind every standing ovation is a network of patrons who know that theater changes lives. With tickets funding only half the cost, PSF counts on contributions to produce world-class theater, cultivate new audiences, and nurture future generations of artists. Give today at pashakespeare.org/support. Great theater is a collaboration both on stage and off.